So I was asked to speak to one particular topic, and that's the future of collective investment schemes in Rwanda, and their comparison to other investment options. Um, I do not have a presentation like my colleague Agnes, but I hope you'll be able to follow the discussion and that this will be useful. So when I got asked to present, I had two reflections, and I'll use those to really unpack what I think the future of investment schemes will be and could be in Rwanda. The first reflection was around market research that we conducted late last year. We set up our first CIS, that's BK Capital, just over 4 years ago. That was in 2020, and since then we've had relatively good success. We have close to 2,000 unit trust holders that have subscribed to our unit trust, which is called Aguka, and we've been able to grow it to the tune of 24 billion. That's our AUM at the end of January. But when we look at it from the size of our fund vis-a-vis the size of the economy, I think it's still relatively small, and then in the same goes for the industry. So we did some research last year, and the top two barriers to accessing unit trusts or collective investment schemes were a lack of information and alternative investments. So I think really to change the trajectory, these are two critical things that need to be looked at. So in terms of lack of information, how can this be tackled? It's really a mandate for many of the intermediaries and regulators. But in terms of the future, I think there have to be a lot more intermediaries actually performing the act of intermediation of these funds. So they need to be new professions such as financial advisors who advise clients on various investments and collaborate with fund managers and stockbrokers to reach all parts of the country. I think fintechs also play a critical role in creating awareness and distribution. There's a sandbox at the moment, which I believe holds a lot of potential. We're currently working with a few of the participants and looking at their offering. I think it will create a lot of awareness of these CIS products and make it much easier to distribute. And then lastly, in terms of intermediation, there is need, and I think that in the future, banks need to distribute these products. And if you look at markets that could be the same in terms of GDP per capita, but have sort of leapfrogged and have a wide adoption of CIS products, a lot of the success has been due to banks actually offering wealth management services and acting as channels for customers to access this. Still around the point of information and the need to really have clients aware of these products. I think in terms of the kind of content that's developed, some of it needs to change and become a lot more accessible to the general public. And I think we will see changes in this going forward to improve the information around services. So to the second point, in terms of barriers to usage of CIS products and potential solutions around them, the second thing we found was potential clients tend to invest in alternative investments, namely land and real estate, for those who are already investing. So I think looking down the road, this could be potential for REITs. There is a framework both at the regulatory level and then at the exchange in terms of the rules to have these real estate vehicles within CIS. And REITs hold a lot of potential for investors and investees. Some of them have already been mentioned by Agnes, but I see a future where, the demand for real estate, the demand for these sort of investments, could be channeled or could, utilize the REIT framework. And also looking at alternative, the appetite for alternative investments and then how this could shape CIS. Besides REITs, I see a world where in the future there could be, locked in vehicles or locked in funds where the money pooled is locked in for a long period of time. And these are channeled to private debt, private equity, and these funds made more accessible to the public, given there is a willingness to forgo yield, to forgo liquidity for more returns. And I think, looking at some of these products could address this sort of desire to move more towards alternative investments. So I think first reflection was really driven by the research we found and the two challenges of lack of information and the desire for alternative investments, and seeing how CISs can address these barriers. I think the next reflection is just really trends that are happening. So across mutual funds, and I think this, we'll see these in Rwanda as well, is adoption of technology. There are already a number of fintechs in the sandbox. A number of them will come to market in the near future, and they'll offer users different ways and different benefits of accessing CIS, and this will, I truly believe, increase adoption. Beyond this, for asset managers, there are other benefits that could come from adoption, and we will begin to see. So the use of AI for customer service, you could have automated chat boxes, you could automate your asset allocation, and many things that are very human capital intensive. So in terms of the impact of technology, I believe this will be increasingly so in the future. I think another top trend is really pulling, having CISs in new asset classes. So currently we look at the CISs in the market, they're predominantly fixed income. So in the near future, and just a lot like what we're seeing in other parts of the world, there will be pooling of assets into new assets. There'll be pooling of money into new asset classes. So that could be, listed equity, private equity, real estate in the form of REITs. If it's fixed income, maybe things more vehicles more focused towards, corporate bonds that do offer higher yield, but of course at a higher risk. So I think new asset classes are things that we will see more with CISs going forward. And then I think the last one in terms of trends we're seeing globally that will definitely, begin to show face in the market here is the move towards ETFs. Due to liquidity and lower cost. Currently there are none, but there are regulations that support. There's a regulatory framework that supports this. So in the future, I do believe we'll have a lot more ETFs, which offer investors a route for passive investment at a much lower cost and more liquidity. So in terms of the future of CIS, those are some reflections, and